My parents have not seen my Kill Tony anything, so they get to watch it here, and I get to watch them watch it, and Timely gets to watch me watch them watch it. So that's what's happening. Ready when you are.
Second poll, it is Colin Sledge. Colin Sledge, everyone. Here we go.
Thank you. So I used to work at the mall at Express. One time, these two ladies went in the same fitting room. And when that happens, apparently you're supposed to say, "I'm sorry, we only allow one person at a time in the fitting rooms." But what I said was, "Oh yeah." In my head, it was really quiet, you know, but they said I shouted it. I always say the wrong thing, you know. Like I was hooking up with this girl, and she was like, you know, talk dirty to me. And I was like, what do you want me to say? I'll just say whatever you want. Just tell me what to say. And she was like, just make me feel like a slut. I was like, you're such a slut, you're having sex with me. And at the end, she was like, did you even come? I was like, bitch, did you? No, so why are you talking shit? Oh, okay.
Fuck yeah, Colin Sledge. I love it. You're your own thing. You got your own voice. You're owning who you are. Fucking amazing. How long you been doing stand-up?
We'll call it 3 years.
Amazing. Where at?
Houston, always Houston.
Okay, you still live in Houston?
Yeah, I live in Houston.
Amazing. Is that where you're born and raised?
Yes, born and raised.
I love it. What do you do for a living?
I'm a piano teacher.
Amazing. I love it. It makes perfect fucking sense. You have your own rhythm. You do look like you play the organ at a haunted house. This all makes perfect sense. I love it. Guys, Colin Sledge, can you believe what you're seeing?
Fucking killed. That was fantastic, man. Congratulations.
Killed it.
Thank you.
He is a creepy motherfucker, but he's funny.
Yeah.
Fucking
I feel like birds go quiet when you walk into the park. I mean, man.
My friends say I have resting serial killer face.
Yes.
They're imaginary.
Shut up, pal.
My friends in my head say. Wow, Colin, you are your own thing.
Dude, the way he looks at you like a bird, it's crazy. His head turns fully around.
Where's the camera? Where's my camera at?
Straight out there. There's one over there.
What the fuck?
They're everywhere. It's wild that there's not a red light on that one in the back. Is there one back there? What do you cover up the red light? That's weird. Okay. All right. So Colin, what does a guy like you, scary as fuck, what does a guy like you do for fun when you want to let loose a little bit? What do you?
What part of the woman's body do you like to eat first? Strike me as a shoulder blade man.
Which question should I answer?
You stick with mine. Stick with mine.
Okay.
What cemetery do you live in?
What do you like to do for fun? What would surprise us about you?
What would surprise you about me? I quit comedy for 8 years, and I just sort of got back 6 months ago. So.
Unbelievable. What made you quit 8 years ago?
I just wanted to do something with my life.
What did you end up doing with your life?
Not very much. That's why I came back.
Wow. Look at you. Unbelievable. So what else? Tell me more about you. What do you when you want to let your hair down and not be so creepy? What do you do? What do you do for fun?
I hang out after open mics. That's a lot.
You hang out with other comedians.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And other than that, other than comedy,
They so when they diagnosed me with autism.
There it is.
There it is.
You had to get a diagnosis for that?
Yes.
They could have done that over the phone,
He was
dude.
still in the car. He pulled in. They're like, "You got it. You You got it. Keep going.
Yeah.
He pulled in reverse.
Buddy, we're not even going to charge you to copay. You got enough fucking problems.
Yeah, they could tell in high school just the other kids, but I had to pay a lot of money, and I didn't get diagnosed until I was like 27 or something. Wow. But yeah, they had me go to like a autistic support group, but I was
Just a bunch of guys staring at the wall.
I was too high functioning for that.
Okay. Well, you were?
I was the most charismatic guy there.
Jesus Christ. Must have been a real who's who.
Yeah. And so I had to find, like, I was too high functioning for the autistic people and not high functioning enough for the normal people, so I started doing open mics, and those are sort
That's
of
perfect, yeah.
bridges the gap. You know.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing, Colin.
Good dresser. Sharp kid.
I worked at the mall.
You did? Wow. What did you do at the mall?
I yelled at ladies going in changing rooms.
Oh, that's right.
That was part of my set.
Yeah, I remember now. For some reason, I pictured you like in the middle, like with like sunglasses.
Yeah, he's
or
got a real
something.
kiosk vibe.
Yeah.
Not main store.
Yeah.
I wasn't much for the customer service aspect.
You don't say.
I liked
People
just
got real
cleaning, you know.
Cleaning.
Right.
Yeah, folding shapes.
Ah, yes. Folding is good for you.
I don't even think he worked. He just went to Express and they let him fold the clothes.
Does this fucking guy work here? Shh.
I'm busy.
Yeah. Wow. How else do you flex your autism?
The piano stuff and the.
You know, and I don't think we've ever done this before in the history of the show. But John, I mean, this is a 1 in a billion snag right here. I don't know how fucking blatantly he can get out. He'll get out just fine. He'll climb somewhere. Matt will let him out. John Dees, is it okay if we let this fucking virtuoso step in for a second? I think he's asleep right now, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, put that mic in the mic stand there, Colin. And
by myself, yes.
And
Yeah.
wow, Deez
How many people are in the room?
This fucking poor sportsmanship over here.
300?
My God. Shut the fuck up. Come on. All right. Yeah, make sure it's the piano. Last thing we need is him fucking freaking out and screaming because it comes out like a violin or something.
It's a violin.
It did come out weird.
There he
Kind
goes.
of.
Colin looking very uncomfortable as a blind man walks by. Okay, yeah, he's blind, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we never, ever, ever let anyone touch our amazing band leader, John Deez's piano. But I have to know what's going on with the stylings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the musical debut, and just let him play. Let's not back him up, right? Let's just feel the flow of the stylings of Colin Sledge, everyone. Here we go.
Okay, this is the only thing I've memorized. So.
I mean, you can play anything you want.
This is the only thing I've. Okay.
Chunk stuff.
Okay, what is this Charlie Brown shit? Can I have a piano?
Yeah, John Deez has set you up for failure. He wants to be the only good piano player. He's literally one of the most profitable musicians in Austin, but he's...
And then it goes up. I'm being very nice. There it is.
Can you play something you don't have memorized? Everybody's having a good time. All right, that's enough, Colin. You play like one of your students. I literally play piano better than you. No, Michael, no.
I need a sustain, okay?
You need a sustain.
I
There
need
is
a
a pedal down there.
There is?
Yeah, there's multiple
Well, I'm not
pedals.
doing that again.
You're so funny. I feel like the interviews with you could go on forever and ever. Do you feel at home here?
Weirdly, yeah, actually.
Weirdly, yeah. How much material do you think you have if you had to do a rock solid great set?
Well, I kept writing for the 8 years, so I don't.
You have a lot of material.
I have a lot of material.
Okay, we're gonna do 3 things here. First of all, Red Band. He lives in Houston. That is correct. That's a 2.5-hour drive, Red Band.
If you want to do the secret show Thursday,
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Very good. And I want the talent booker here at the Comedy Mothership to see you. And the open mic here starts in about 15, 20 minutes. So if
Cool.
you stick around, you're going to get to showcase for the talent booker, the very famous Adam Egat, booker of here, former booker of the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, former co-host of the Norm Macdonald Show. And I want you to do a guest spot on my show here at the Comedy Mothership. Wednesday at 7. It's a sold-out show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Is that okay? Do you have enough? Is it driving too much?
I'll make it work.
You're going to make it work. I think you will. That makes sense. But your interviews are so good. I think you should really come back here more. So, you know what? I'm going to give you a golden ticket as well, Colin. There's just a level of autism. There's a level of autism missing from this show since Hans Kim is always busy on the road nowadays. And we need someone like you. You're going to fit in just fine. Congratulations. Here's the big joke book. Colin Sledge, ladies and gentlemen, has made his Kill Tony debut here. Colin Sledge. He's even got a good name.
Look at that. Look at you.
It's amazing.
So, any questions? The cat, I feel like I should have addressed before. The cat means your minute is over, and if you keep going, eventually they play like a bear sound, and then you really have to stop. So I could have kept going a little bit, but I was okay with how things were. And they actually played the cat sound twice because you couldn't hear it the first time.
Cat.
Yeah, meow. I don't know if you heard
hear
the wolf. So they played it twice because you couldn't really hear it the first time in the room, but you can hear it on the video. So I don't know what that was about. So, any questions, or should I ask you questions?
There were 4 guys at the table.
Mm-hmm. 4 guys at the table.
Tony's the
Tony's the
big
guy,
shot.
the main guy. Yeah. Guy
Is
to the
he
right
the
of him.
only one that could have given this golden ticket.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah, it's his show.
call.
Yeah, it's his call.
Show. And why did he keep looking at the guy on his left that never said anything?
So that's Red Band, and he runs the secret show on Thursdays. So that's the one he was talking. There was some back and forth about that, and Red Band was like hesitant to invite me to Thursday in case I didn't want to make the drive, but I did, and I might do that show again at some point.
It's in a different place.
It is in a different place. It is Sunset Strip on Thursdays. So, yeah, how did I see him on stage? I want to see how did I see him on stage versus how I've been on stage other times you've seen me. Did it seem different or kind of the same?
You looked a little more detached on this one.
I would say
You looked like you hadn't slept in a while.
that is also accurate.
So sometimes you look like you're not having any fun, and sometimes you look like you're having some fun. This was sort of in the middle.
In between.
Yeah.
They sort of scaled up the serial killer stuff. I think when I get sort of adrenaline, instead of like becoming sort of crazy, I just become extremely sort of muted, and so that comes off as very bizarre, which worked out.
You're you're wandering your face around the room sort of randomly, that's pretty effective because they don't know, well, what are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm taking it. There's a lot to be looking at, you know.
300 is a lot of folks too.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. They even said before I went on, like, they're in a good mood because they're not always in a good mood. So let's see. Was I funny as a kid?
You were not particularly funny as a kid.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes you tell people I do stand up, and they always have very interesting responses. Like, what are some of the responses you get when people find out that I do stand up?
They usually say, "Who are you talking about?"
Uh-huh.
Or things of that nature.
I think you told me about one guy who said, like, I've never heard him say anything.
Yes, that wasn't one guy. A lot of people say that.
Yeah, there it is.
I've never heard Colin talk.
Yeah. So what could he possibly have to say?
Yeah. And my answer is, he hadn't said anything in 8 years. He's got it stored up. He's got a storehouse.
Did you think much when I quit stand up back in the day, and did you think much when I started going back?
When you quit, I just thought you were bored with it or whatever, or didn't have time for it, or I didn't really.
Sort of stagnated.
I never asked you about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
just quit.
I didn't think I would stay away for 8 years. I think I thought I would take, you know, a year or two off, and then I just stayed away for a while.
It was a long time before you mentioned that you were still making notes and stuff. Yeah,
I don't tell people about it that much, but yeah, you know, because I don't,
or even editing your old stuff. You know,
yeah,
combination of things.
Because I don't like, you know, it's 6 o'clock. It's time to write jokes. I just sort of like, sometimes I think of something and then I just jot it down and let it sit in the Google Doc. And after a while, you know, I went through the Google Docs and I was like, this is sort of the more there is, the more daunting it is to go back, because it's like, it just seems like a lot of work, and like, what's the point? Do you think I'm different on and off stage? Because Victoria says I'm the same exact person on and off stage, and the night that she saw me, that was very much the case. But I feel like I'm not very similar to what we just saw, but I don't know.
I think you have a nice range. I think that you can be different in the how many performances have we seen?
I've only seen like 2.
3.
Yeah, not many. Well, you went to all 3 of my tournament rounds, right?
Right.
So that's 3. Some of those are the same jokes. Although you said in the first round I seemed very, you know, happy and, you know,
yeah, it's more
having
effective when
fun.
you look like you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, the second round I was stressed for a lot of things and I did not. And then the third one I don't remember. I think third round was pretty fun. I think I sort of had a little balance between the first 2. So I would say I'm similar on and off stage, right?
I would agree.
I think I'm.
As you're walking around the house, you're most of the time you're in a mode where you could, in 2 seconds, be walking on stage, and it's the same. You're in the same mode.
Mm-hmm. Had you heard any of those jokes before?
Yes.
Which ones had you heard?
The opener.
The opener. Is that the only one? I think that was the only one you've heard.
And I've never heard you describe the autism support group.
Oh yeah.
I'd never heard that before. It's not a joke exactly, but
not really. Well, that's the thing. It's just a true story.
Yeah.
That's sort of why it's funny.
They liked it.
What I just occurred to me and I wrote it down, it is not out of the possibility that, you know, some of my fellows from that support group see this.
Oh, you've offended all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, they all have my address.
Yeah, they're coming after me. Okay.
What was the part that like your dad really laughed at that you circled and like wrote something out and circled?
I do not remember, but I did write out a lot of things. Oh, what I did want to say is I was very uncomfortable throughout all of that just now. Just especially the piano stuff. I was like,
Just now?
yeah, just watching it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, watching it back. Honestly, I felt more uncomfortable watching it back than I did when it was happening. And I realized, like, as I'm watching it, I was swaying in the chair. And as I was swaying in the chair, I was sort of swaying on stage. It was the exact same sort of little stimming. Here it is. They said, like, you needed a diagnosis for that, for the autism, and you laughed. And when I first came to you and said, my therapist told me about this thing called autism she thinks I might have, you said, nah, I don't think that's really a good fit. So what changed in the past few years that became, obviously. So what?
You've had ample affirm that about you since then, where you had no one ever suggest that before then.
No one had ever suggested it to my face, I'll say. They may have
But my
suggested
client
it.
that worked with you on interpersonal
Oh, yes.
connections, he was your sort of interpersonal coach for a little while, and he's still my client. And after you told me that you'd kind of been diagnosed that way, he said, "Oh yeah, me and my wife knew that as soon as we met him."
Yeah. Well, he did not know that. Didn't you say, like, he didn't know?
His wife.
And his wife met me for 15 minutes.
A
And
high school principal person.
And she was like, Colin has autism. And he's like, oh, okay. And they didn't reach out to let us know. Usually when people find out that I have autism, when I, came out of the closet, the autistic closet, people would either say, no, you're not, or we already knew that. Yeah. So it's sort of a unclear response.
I thought their wisecracks across the board were all pretty funny.
Yeah.
And helpful to progress the thing.
Yeah, like my interview, I wasn't leading the interview, I was responding to stuff. They led the interview. The guitar player started playing what I had played on the piano. So let's talk about the piano. Okay, first, I'm a good piano teacher. Okay, first I tried to play The Dance by Garth Brooks, and it went okay at the beginning. But everything sounds much more juvenile without the sustain. And the dance, I just forgot what the left-hand chord was supposed to be or something. And then they started booing. That's how I knew they actually liked me, is how long it took for them to start booing. I was like, I got a good shot at this. And then, so the dance, which is the song I have memorized, I couldn't do. But I did this little thing from Spirited Away, which is a song I do not have memorized. And that I did fine, because it was like I couldn't overthink it or something. It was just like a muscle memory thing. And I haven't played that song much in the past 9 years. I recorded it a few weeks ago, so I had to relearn it for that. But like, this is the song I learned in like college. It would be the only song I did, and it was One Summer's Day from Spirited Away. So it's a good thing because I got him sort of back on my side after that. Although without the pedal, it still sounds a little juvenile, which is why he started sort of making everyone's having a good time or whatever he said.
Everybody's having a good time.
And then as I get up from the piano, for whatever reason, I just played one more little thing, and it was the beginning of Much Too Young to Feel This Damn Old, because I have the first measure of that memorized for some reason.
I literally played.
So if you watch it back, you can see I'm playing the little guitar riff from that song on the piano. As I get up and walk away, never to return.
I missed that.
And I think that might have been I feel like it all turned out pretty well, because he was like, there is a pedal over there, and then I just said well, I'm not doing that again or something like that, and he really liked that, and that might have been what sealed it. It might have just been the fact that I was autistic and weird and an easy target for whatever panel they bring on.
You think your piano playing got you the golden ticket?
I don't know. What if I played it really well and they're like, good job, I'll see you later? I don't know. Maybe I feel like the margin of error is very slim for this. I don't know though. I mean, Mike said I knew you were going to get a golden ticket. I was like, no, you did not. You thought I would do. Oh, you thought I'd have a good set probably, but the interview, there's no reason to suspect that would go well with me. Shut up, Tommy.
I think Tony sort of favored you from the get-go for some unexplained reason, and the other guys came along sort of eventually. But he
Yes,
was like, he was in your corner, like,
Yeah,
right,
he
right-
seemed to
right
like
out-
me.
right up front I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm nice and funny and stuff, so that's something
Yeah.
to that maybe. I think what may have set me apart is a lot of people come out and ask, like, how's everybody feeling? They're they're sort of more charismatic or high energy, and I'm sort of not interested in how everyone's feeling, and maybe that sets me apart, because you can come out and try to be too nice, and you can also come out and try to be like, oh yeah, well you're gay or whatever, and either of those is sort of like off-putting in its own way. So maybe just coming out and just that's the first thing he said was, you're your own thing, so maybe that was why he liked me. But I don't know. I didn't think my minute actually went, like, it was good, but it certainly I didn't think was like golden ticket worthy. And really, I only like the third joke. I think the first two jokes are sort of, they're fine. Timely said to do the jokes that get the biggest reactions, and she's been at shows with me, and she's like, those are the three that get the biggest reactions. So just do those, and figure out the flow of it in the moment. So that was the plan. So she's picking out my next minute, whenever that is. Any other questions about the show?
And that's all anyone gets when they first come out, a minute.
Yeah, you just get a minute. And some people have been doing comedy for,
Even if you've been there before,
even if you've been there, you get 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Did you
tough.
explain the process, Colin?
The process, the sign-up process.
Yeah, does your dad know about that?
So, I've been going to Austin. You've been calling me. It's like, you want to get dinner? I'm like, I'm in Austin. Maybe tomorrow, or, put something in my fridge. I don't know. So we've been driving to Austin, and you go to this place called Poor Choices, and you bring your ID and you sign up, and I would say there's like a 2% chance of getting pulled on any given show night. I don't know if that's just sort of a guess.
They don't invite you. You just
No, that's maybe 200 people sign up, and maybe 8 people or so get picked. And I had gone maybe 8 to 10 times ish, maybe, and so I think I got picked early-ish. Lots of people, I would say 1 in 10 or so is a better shot than 1 in 50. So I did luck out getting picked. We had to leave and Tommy was telling me, like, I think it's a double header. And I was like, what if it's not, though? And then she was like, and so I could have easily just missed it. I was very close to just being like, we'll just go later. I don't want to just, there was another person coming with us. I didn't want to leave him behind because he had work until a certain hour. But I texted him, and he was like, I can leave now if we're going to go. So I was like, okay, we're going to make a mad dash for it. And it worked. And it, like Timely was saying, there is fewer people that sign up on the doubleheader because the sign up cuts off at like 4 or something, which, there's just going to be less people who are available to do it at that point, especially if it was short notice.
Right.
People drive in from all over to do it. So there was a lot of good luck that day.
Hey, Colin, can you talk about what happened like after? He said, you're going to go over to the open mic.
Oh yeah, so I sort of got off stage, and this usher guy led me through the bowels of the mothership, which is the comedy club. Yeah, it's Joe Rogan's comedy club, and just all these rooms. I met like a security guy, and I ended up in this other stage called the Little Boy, and they sat me in the very back of that room, and I called Timely, and to tell her about how it went, and apparently she overheard the guy saying like, okay, I'm gonna try to get you in front of Adam Egett, and Timely was like, hang up the phone. Like, you just focus. And but I was like, what joke should I do? And so I did 3 minutes. I was like number 5 or 6 on that open mic, and I think it went pretty well. I did not.
Way fewer people.
Oh yeah, but it's probably
50.
Maybe 80.
Wait for when in the how many people are in the Little Boy?
Yeah.
The Little Boy.
Yeah.
I think like 150.
Oh,
It was maybe 100. So certainly not a normal open mic, and the crowd was good. Like, but I think that set went pretty well. Like, I just did my intro stuff because I just did the first part of my like 15-minute set because I only got 3 minutes. And then at the end I was like, I asked Adam, it's like, good, I'm done, so I can leave. I didn't ask for feedback or anything. I was like, I just want to go back across the street because I was at that point, when I was missing Timely. Okay, whatever. And I was very nauseous.
You needed a Sprite.
Yes, I needed a Sprite. So, and Mike from Chicago, Mike Caceres, Nancy's friend, and Daniel, the guy we came up with, did not know that I was gone.
They had become friends.
Yeah, they were new besties. They did not know that I got picked, and they were very surprised to hear the news. But I did tell them. I didn't tell other Houston people, but I did tell them because they were there.
you didn't know anyone in the room
In what room?
with the 300 with Tony's place. You didn't know anyone in there or the other room.
No.
Not a soul.
No, I had met this guy, Uncle Laser, who's a comic on the show, and so I met him on the street like an hour before we signed up.
He's pretty well known.
Yeah, he's pretty well known. So it was cool to meet him, and then he went on stage right before me. Oh, this is actually kind of interesting. Like, so I got pulled. I walk across the street. They search me and frisk me, and then I go and wait backstage, and then he comes out from this curtain behind the stage, and he's like in his own head, he's thinking about what he's about to do, and I just go like, hi, and he goes, hi, what's up, and he like doesn't really acknowledge me, and then he sort of like does like a double take, and it's like, oh, you're the guy from outside, and he had made fun of my handshake, so I knew he remembered me, because he was.
Who doesn't?
This is why I do stand up. Where my camera at? What was that? Who is that? Psycho. So that was cool, and he had a very good set. I'll say that. I think that benefits me. People don't want to follow people who do well, but I think that the room is in a good mood, so he may have helped me out with that. Any other questions?
Yeah, so he said, who is that? When he says, where my camera? I think there's some glimpses of like Diva Collins. Is that true? Is there a Diva Collins?
Am I a psycho?
No.
Am I a diva?
We're trying to clock it, make sure his head doesn't get too big too fast.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm nice. I'm bashful. You don't even have a mic. You don't get to talk. You're like, this is what I'm talking about.
I think you're delightfully competitive.
That's a very nice way of saying it. I can be a little competitive. Where my camera at?
And then do you want to move on to Wednesday? What Wednesday was like?
Sure, I can talk about Wednesday. Wednesday morning, Drew Nickens texts me on Instagram. It says, good luck tonight. And I said, why? Or something like that. Because I had forgotten that Tony's show was on Wednesday because I blacked out a lot of that stuff. Which was good because I had not been sleeping. Like, I wouldn't have slept very well if I knew, like, tomorrow you're opening for Tony Hinchcliffe and Austin. I would be very stressed out. But it was perfect. It's like, I just wake up and I called Timely. It's like, I hope you don't have work because we're going to Austin today. So we went to Austin. It was pretty crazy. It was really cool. I got to hang out in the green room with lots of cool people. I met Magnus Carlsen, and I texted Leah. It's like, I met Magnus Carlsen because she loves chess, and she said, who is Magnus Carlsen? And I was like, okay, never mind, that's fine. So the green room was very interesting, and I got to do my 10 minutes. Tony asked me if I wanted to do 8 or 10, and like I prefer 10 because if I do like 5 or 8, then I have to decide what jokes to do, and if I do 10, I was like, okay, I'll just do sort of. I was preparing a set for the festival because I'm in the festival in like a month or so, so I was like, I'll just do that, and I'll cut out some of the stuff, and just make it 10. And then Thursday, it's a big crowd, but I went up pretty late, and so there wasn't a ton of pressure there. But and we were things like, we're gonna do different stuff. You know, did some stuff Monday, and then I'll do some different stuff Wednesday and different stuff Thursday. And by the time like Wednesday came around, it was like I can't. I'm not reworking my set list. I'm not, you know, putting all that pressure on me, and especially because I was not sleeping great. So I'm just doing. I mean, there was some variation, but I was doing mostly just the same stuff. And if I was like, if I do all the same stuff for 1 week straight, then I can sort of just like, you know, quit doing it to some extent and just start a new set list. So we'll figure out. Timely and I have to get together and figure out my new set list now. Any other questions?
So now what?
Did you have fun?
Where do you go and when do you go and how often and all that stuff?
I think we'll go every few weeks. They said message ahead of time to see when is a good sort of fit, because, you know, there's a lot of people, and maybe certain guests would be better suited for me than others. I don't know. So I just message ahead. Red Band did say I can do the secret show whenever, you know, I'm in Austin. Just text ahead so he can get me a decent, you know, spot. That was nice.
They call it a secret show because it's more expensive?
I don't know.
Because they don't say the lineup.
Oh, they don't say the lineup ahead of time.
Oh.
People just buy tickets being like, oh, okay, we'll watch whoever.
But it was a good lineup the night I was there, and it was probably, yeah. Someone messaged me like, that's a really good lineup, and I was like, yeah, because I'm on it. And then he blocked me. No, okay.
So the Austin comedy clubs are more expensive to get in than here?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Double?
It depends on what show and like what day of the week.
Yeah.
I think also like what's next is like making yourself not like more available, but just showing up consistently in Austin so you can keep those connections of being able to go up at those places whenever you're there.
Yeah. I'm not going to move to Austin, and I'm not going to drive to Austin like all the time, but I will sort of go periodically.
I do shows in Austin about once a month, and it's very good for.
Yeah, I'll probably, you know, we'll tag along with each other to the extent that we can, because I need a chaperone. So that's what's next. It changed my priorities a lot, and for me, in a way that I enjoy, because before time was getting on me, it's like you gotta, you know, get your festival set like down. You gotta do the same jokes over and over in different rooms, and like sort of iron out everything and make it, you know. And I'm not saying I don't need to be doing that, but that's not the only thing I need to be doing at this point. So I get to go back to being a little more, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, if I took 8 years off and kept writing, there's a lot of work I have to do on stage, and that's so. And this is also good because it's probably easier for me to get stage time now. So that it speeds up my process on stage to some extent, which is what I was one of the biggest benefits. The other benefit, and the one that I kept thinking about that entire week, is like I go up at open mics a lot, and I'm like, I'm just too low energy. I'm too, you know, weird. People don't want to listen to me. And maybe I should just be a little more engaging, a little more, how's everybody feeling? It's a little more, something. And now I feel like I can be myself a little bit more, and people can,
That was the main thing. Like, that was the first thing you said to me when you got off stage. You were like, they liked me for me. And
yes.
I was like, that feels
They
awesome.
liked me for me. And that's what I was most excited about.
So none of this has made you any more likely to mow the grass?
No, I would say it's made me less likely. Another issue I was having before this is like, what kind of comic am I? Because I do write a lot, and it's not all the same style, and I think that's good, but it's sort of just weird. I can't do 30 minutes of a Seinfeldy thing and then 30 minutes of a darker, more upsetting thing. It's just a weird juxtaposition. It's good to be able to do clean shows and dirty shows, but you sort of don't have a firm identity as a comic at that point. And people have been telling me, it's like, you need to be working on clean jokes, because there's just lots of shows. If you're limiting yourself to only doing sort of dark material, you're just not going to be able to do the same amount of shows as you could before. And I'm not just going to start, doing dark, upsetting stuff for its own sake, but it's good that I get to have a little bit more freedom now.
You
I like
used your
what you
hands
said.
a little more than
I
you
have
normally
been
do.
I don't know. That is the thing that I do now.
Usually your left hand.
Yeah, because I'm holding the mic usually with my
okay.
right hand. And that goes back to Alex. She told me, like my third night back or something, she's like, you should experiment with being a little more, expressive on stage. And I think that sort of altered the trajectory of, because before that, before I quit, I hold the mic and I hold the mic stand, and that was all I did ever. And then one time I went to a show, and there was no mic stand. They were just handing the mic, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with my left hand. And right before I went on, this guy was like, "Good luck," and he just gave me a drink, and I just held the drink. I was like, "This is perfect."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So now I'm a little more. That's the thing. One of the reasons I quit back then is like, I'm just not that good at this. But I was also like 21. You're probably not going to be incredibly good at it. So.
And I never saw that. Even one time, I never
Yeah.
saw that.
I was back in the day. I never let anyone come to see me except Chad. And even then, I wasn't really wild about it. But no pictures. I recorded one set one time in my entire 2 years of doing it, because I hated my voice. I just hated everything. I didn't want anyone to know about it, and that's one of the reasons I actually started coming back. Is like, I should have some evidence that I could do this once upon a time. And so I wanted a couple pictures, and I wanted some audio recordings and maybe a video recording at some point. That's why I entered the Riot tournament, because they give you a video. And then one of my friends said, like, you could maybe win or make the finals. And ever since then, I started taking it like really seriously. So if I didn't enter that tournament, I might have quit after getting some decent videos. Yeah, I remember telling you like early on, like I was at Secret Group at like 2 a.m, and I was just like, what am I doing here? Like, this is I'm too old for this. This is a bygone era of my life or whatever. I'm just trying to relive the past or whatever. And those are fair critiques, but I think.
Who said that?
I said that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Fuck that guy. He doesn't know anything. He's a coward. Anything else, Kyle? Timely?
Thanks, guys. Here's your videos. Nice.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay, delete.
Kyle, cut that.
Wow, got that.
I have a couple things.
Oh, yeah?
I liked whenever you said you weren't going to play the piano again.
Mhm.
I thought Tony really. I think that really played.
Yeah,
in.
that's what I said. I really think that might have like put me over the edge. It's like, well, I'm not doing that again. And let me tell you, I meant that. I am never doing that again. I'm not preparing something. John D's on the keys from now on.
He stays on the keys.
Huh?
He stays on the keys.
Yeah, he's staying on the keys.
Yeah, what if Tony asked you to play a song?
Colin, why don't you serenade us with something beautiful?
You're gonna tell him no.
I'm going to tell him, please no.
And the last thing I'll ask, do you have any booked shows coming up, or do you have anything you're thinking about in that?
Colin's first headlining set will be at the Secret Group on
Oh, yeah.
March 27th.
My first headlining set, March 27th at the Secret Group.
I'm opening for you.
Who else is there?
I should send it to me.
Okay.
If it's
I
not
think
me,
there's
I'm
someone
gonna
else there, but
Stab Rick Diaz.
okay, it's Rick Diaz. Is that confirmed or is that
It's
suspected?
semi-confirmed.
Okay, whatever. Well, I'm gonna be there. That's all that matters. No, Rick Diaz reached out. He's very nice, so props to him. What? Don't laugh at me, Timely. I'm new to this. Anything else, Kyle?
No, I think that's
End
great.
your video. Say thank you so much for letting me read you.
Thank you so much for this gay shit.